I'm Autumn Bensett, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. So here we go. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Babe podcast. I am so excited because today we have Andrea Crowder here with us, and we are going to be talking all about making bank by doing shit differently. So thank you so much, Andrea, for being on the podcast.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I will just give a little intro just so you guys get to know her a little bit if you have never met her before. So Andrea Crowder is a multi-passionate serial entrepreneur. She is a proud top earner in the network marketing world, breaking all the stereotypes and disrupting the industry just the way she likes it. Co-creator of Rebel Body Babes, a wellness revolution for women who prefer approaching nutrition and life with desire versus discipline. She is the host of the recently launched Sexy Little Soul podcast for the new age spiritual soul sister, and most recently co-founder of Spiritually Intimate, which we're going to talk about a little later, a lingerie line with pockets designed to keep your crystals close and intentions clear. She's insanely passionate about helping other women shed the weight that holds them back, figuratively, literally, or both, so we can show up in the world in a bigger and more audacious way. So thank you again so much for being here. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. I told you that was going to be too much of a mouthful.
It's all good. It's all good. We made it happen. So I love to dive into the episode at the very beginning and ask you, what is one thing that you are celebrating right now?
Well, I'm celebrating courage, I think, is like the biggest thing with us launching a new business in a industry that we have zero experience in. There's more unknowns than there are knowns, which is a little nerve-wracking, but we're choosing to let it be fun and kind of let it be a game and let, our intuition guide us. And so far it has been exactly that. It has been really, really exciting. So I'm celebrating the courage to do something completely unknown.
Oh, I love that. I think that's so perfect. And I always say that because people are always looking for confidence, right? They're like, I just want to be confident. I want to be confident, but courageousness and being courage or having courage has to come first before you have confidence. And so I love that you're celebrating being courageous and just letting it be fun, just letting it just have this process be really playful, because I think that especially in entrepreneurship, we always worry so much about this being perfect and having to look a certain way, and then we kind of lose the whole aspect of fun and play. So I love that so much.
I heard Marianne Williamson say something, I think it was just like a recording that I was listening to of hers, where she was talking about how she had lost $10,000 on a live event that she decided to host. And I think she was maybe having this discussion with her dad or a male that was close to her. And his response to her was, well, can you recover from that? And she just said, yeah, actually, I'm really lucky. I can recover from that. And I'm super thankful. And I really never forgot that, because now when I go into something, I always go into it with, well, what's the worst that happens? If I fail and I lose the money that I invested, but I gain knowledge, did I really lose? And can I recover from it? If I can't recover from it, I'm probably not ready for it yet. But if I can afford to make a mistake and then I can recover from it in, the next year or so, not to say that $10,000 or anything along those lines isn't a significant amount of money. It is, but basically anybody can recover from that. Like if you total a $10,000 car, most people can recover from that. It's not going to send you spiraling. So I just decided, okay, I can recover from this. No matter what, I'm going to learn something. I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun along the way. It will be what it's going to be.
100%. And I think that that's really powerful and a really important message for all the women that are listening to this, whether you're in network marketing or you have your own business or you're an entrepreneur in a bit different kind, or you're a coach, you're going to make investments and things are going to happen. But I think you need to look at it like failures. I don't really think failure is possible. I don't think that failure even really can happen, because either you're learning something and you're getting closer to what it is that you do want, or it doesn't work out and you get closer to what you want. Either way, like, you're going to move closer to what it is that you want. You're going to get a lesson, or you're going to get exactly what you wanted out of it to begin with. So I love that story, and I wrote it down. I was like, can I recover from this? So this is going to be one of my new mantras, one of my new questions that I keep in my back pocket, because I think that's really powerful. And I know that that's something that I bring to my clients as well when they're worried about if it's quitting a job, or if it's launching the project, or it's, investing in branding or in services or in a coach. It's like, well, what's the worst that can happen here? You learn, or you learn. Like, either way, you can't really go wrong.
Exactly. Generally, the pro versus con list, the pro list is generally much, much longer. And at that point, you just got to learn to trust that gut feeling.
100%. So for the listeners who may just be meeting you for the first time, I know I did a little bit of an intro for you already, but could you share a bit about your story and maybe, more specifically how you got started in network marketing and got yourself from network marketing to the incredible business you have now and on the verge of launching Spiritually Intimate?
Yeah. So I actually, entrepreneurship was always appealing to me because I like the idea of owning my own time, but was very, very scary to me. And when I first had the little inkling of well, maybe I'll start a little home-based business, it was, I'm a military wife and I was staying at home with my children and wanted something to do, a little way to make extra money. And I thought maybe I'll take holiday photos or something and I'll be a photographer. But even that felt very scary to me because back then it was either word of mouth marketing or you ran an ad in the paper. There was no post on Facebook. There was no Instagram. I think we forget Instagram just came out in, I think it was 2011. And not many years before that, really the only social media that people were using was Facebook. And Facebook at first was just for college students. Before that, MySpace. I remember reading about Girl Boss and she was talking about how she was leveraging MySpace in this kind of shady way because it was against the rules how she was doing it. But I was like, man, social media feels like it's such a big part of our life that we forget that it hasn't been a part of our lives for that long. So entrepreneurship just felt too big for me. I didn't have enough courage at that time to take the risk. And when I started network marketing, I almost did so blindly because I didn't really truly understand that it was an MLM. I just knew, I heard somebody's story about how they had retired their spouse from a C-level executive position in a company. I was like, wow, she's doing really, really well at this. It seems kind of fun. Maybe I can make $200 a month at this. That was my big goal. And so when I hear, and I've even been guilty of saying this during phases of my business, when I hear people say, dream big and just go for it, I almost want to go backwards and say, no, just have a little dream. You just need a little dream because that dream can grow if you water it, but you don't need to have a dream that's so big that it scares you from actually taking any action. If it's just a little dream, like $200 a month, that doesn't feel as scary. I didn't go into it thinking that I was going to make $1 million in a network marketing business, or I probably would have never started because I would have had so many limiting beliefs pop up about my abilities to be able to do something like that because I didn't have any experience. I had one Instagram follower and that was my sister. So it didn't make any sense that I would be, crushing it on social media and, really have this strong grasp of marketing. I really just had a passion for the products. And I think the beautiful thing about network marketing is that now that I'm creating my own company and I have a really, really interesting perspective of what it's like to truly create a product from scratch, it is hard.
Yes.
What's the rule on F words and cuss words?
You go for it. Unfiltered, totally.
I caught that one in my throat and I was like, I should ask.
No, nothing's off limits here.
So taking an idea and then, finding a manufacturer and there's so much that you don't know to be able to create a product from scratch. And you might have this idea for something that you're super passionate about, but most people are going to look at that and think Well, I just don't know how. And how many people, like, we're creating a bra with a pocket for crystals. If you're into crystals, you had this idea once. The first time that crystal fell out of your bra and either broke or you lost it or it fell into the toilet or it went through the laundry, you thought, man, I wish I had a pocket in my bra for my crystals. Everyone who's put them in their bra has thought that at least once. We're just the first people to really take action on this in a really massive, massive way. And everybody else didn't start because their limiting belief was, well, I just don't know how. Network marketing eliminates that, I don't know how, because the product has already been created. Not only has it been created, but it's been tested. Not only has it been tested, but there's testimonials. Probably one of your friends has used the product, especially now in today's age. So many people are consumers of network marketing products, like in the beauty industry, or I'm in health and fitness. Everybody needs health and fitness forever and ever. So if you can find a product that you're really, really happy with, you're a strong user of this product already, and you're probably already referring people to it anyway, just because you love it so much, it makes sense for you to start a network marketing business, because that company should be paying you for the free word of mouth marketing that you have been giving them. So I know a lot of people have this limiting belief of like, well, I don't want to make money off of my friends. So you're just going to, you're not making money off of them. The company's not going to charge them more because they're buying through your link. The company is actually the one who's sharing their profits with you, and you're sharing a product that is going to fulfill a need for someone else. So I think network marketing is like a business in a box. It's so easy for anybody who wants to be able to start a side hustle, have a little bit of side income, do it in a way that feels fun and exciting, and be able to promote a product that you genuinely care. Do not go start a network marketing business just because you see someone making a lot of money at it and you're drawn to the money. Be drawn to the product first. If you love the product, the money will come no matter what.
Yes. And I think that's really powerful. And I think that that's something that I hope everybody who listens to this really takes note of. Is I see so often that women see the success first, they see the money first, they see the opportunity, whether it's to retire their husband or to come home or to be with their kids, and they see the opportunity first, which, not that that's a bad thing, but they fall in love with the opportunity versus the product and feeling in alignment with the mission and the message and what it actually does for other people. And they get kind of clouded, and then the disconnect comes, and they can't really serve anybody with it because they're not in love with what it is that they're selling. They don't have this connection. So I think that that's such a powerful point, and really important that if you are even just considering jumping into network marketing company, you need to sit down and really think, like, am I passionate about this? Is this something that I already use? It's something that I love. And then kind of, dive into selling it and using this as something to create more revenue from.
Yeah, don't focus on whatever you think is going to be the most lucrative or the easiest. A lot of times people jump, I call them MLM jumpers. I'm sure I did.
No.
But you go from one MLM to the next thinking one's going to be easier. Look, none of them are going to be easier. It takes time and patience for you to be able to get yourself into it's like you have to embody the success before you have the success. So it takes a little bit of time in reconfiguring, your confidence, which takes action first. And a lot of times people think like, well, the secret is a different product or a different compensation plan. None of that is true. The secret is always yourself. So if you love the product, if you geek out over this product, like my life has been completely changed by the products that I sell, because I have such deep belief and conviction in the products that I'm using and how they have fulfilled a need for me, a need for my family, a need for the people that I know and love. I feel so confident, even if this new business took off and turned into, a spiritual, $1 billion Spanx version of like Ray, like I would still be in network marketing aligned with this business because I believe in it so much, and I will always want to support women in this way. Knowing what I know now, and the fact that right now thousands of dollars enter my bank account every single Thursday residually, and I still show up and I still work this business, says to me I made the right decision with the right company. I'm here for a reason, not just the money.
Yeah. So I want to have a little bit of a conversation super quick around that, because I caught you saying something, and I'm curious now, if you had a moment when you were maybe starting, probably way back when in the network marketing company that you're with right now, did you have a moment where you were kind of maybe struggling, maybe this didn't happen for you, but did you have a moment where you were struggling and then you recognize like, I need to embody not where I am, but where I want to be. Like I have to embody that version of success in order to get to that next level. Cause I think that we're all waiting all the time. I'm coaching and I'm working with these women and they're waiting for the success. They're waiting for the clients, the customers, and all of the validation before they feel successful and show up at that level to receive it in. And it's backwards. You have to show up with that confidence first. So I'm curious if you had this moment in this like, aha, like something needs to shift here. I'm not embodying where I want to be versus where I am.
Totally. I came in and I did kind of well starting out, and it built confidence because, I mean, my first month, they only made $50. So it wasn't like I
Yeah.
was writing home to mom saying like, I'm going to change the world here. But again, I only went into it to try to make a couple extra $100. I was still working a full-time job. My husband's in the Army and I had two little kids who are now teenagers, but my life wasn't like all of a sudden I could just invest all this time. And I embodied what I felt like a CEO would embody to grow a company. It was more of just me, having fun with it and playing around. And I still stand by fun equals fast cash. Write that down. The more fun you'll
I'm gonna
have,
do that.
the more fun you're having, the faster your business will be able to grow. But what I found is that it didn't take very long for me to start comparing myself to other people. And that was what really kind of stunted my growth for a really long time. I stopped focusing on what was giving me the success and I was focusing on what other people were doing instead of trusting my own intuition, paying attention to what felt fun to me. And I spent a whole lot of I don't want to call it wasted time because I don't believe you can waste time, but I spent a lot of time focusing on what other people are doing. And when you're looking either to the left or to the right to see what other people are doing, you can't be looking forward to move forward. So that was about 18 months of painful lack of growth for me. It took me a really long time to learn that lesson. And when I went back to why the fuck am I here? What am I doing? Who do I want to help? Because I got caught up in the, how much money you can make and the rank and like the accolades
Yeah.
and all of that. And it is so exciting that it really diverted me from why I was there and what I really wanted to do and who I wanted to help. And it was just too much diverted attention that I'm thankful now that I have because I didn't quit. Had I been one of those people that spent 18 months with almost no growth in my business, most people would have quit. A lot of people did. That's why they say 2% ish of people actually succeed in network marketing business and make the big bucks. It's not because they're more special than you. It's just that they have more persistence. That is it. That is the only reason. I had more persistence and I stayed with it, and I just kept tweaking until I figured it out. And really the thing that I figured out was that number one, I wasn't leveraging law of attraction because I didn't know what that was. Number two, I was focusing on what I didn't have. I didn't understand what lack meant at the time. And again, like jealousy is, or comparison is the thief of joy, right? So when I went back into it and I decided like, how can I make this fun? Now with the perspective that I have 7 years in, I can think about it like this. When I am if I'm starting a new business and I'm thinking with the end in mind, what is it that I'm trying to get out of it? Well, I want to build a career. I want to have an amazing community of people that I want to work with. I want to have strong finances. I want to be able to care for my family. I want to be able to travel more. If you dig 5 layers deep into that and just keep asking, well, why? Well, why do you want that? Well, why do you want that? At the bottom of it, the very, very bottom layer is because I think it will make me happy. If you wait to be happy, then you're going to be waiting a long time for the success, because every time you hit a goal, there's going to be a new goal. It lasts for like 24 to 48 hours when you hit like a new income goal or a new
Yes.
rank goal. It's very, very short lived. So if you're waiting to be happy, you are going to build a business that feels like bondage instead of a business that feels like freedom. And you will be selling that, which makes you a big fat hypocrite, because you're selling
Yes.
people, join this, you're going to live this life of freedom, but you're not really living free. You're being a
Yes.
hypocrite. So
Yes.
when I think about like, okay, if the end goal ultimately is I just want to feel good, I just want to be happy, well, how can I feel good and how can I be happy now? And that's why I say fun equals fast cash, because
Mm,
when you're focused on being playful, having fun, you have a strong vision of who you want to help, and then you let go of the outcome. You're not, one person is never going to make or break you. So when you're holding on so tightly to whether one person says yes or no, if you're holding on, your hand is closed. Therefore, you're not in a space where you can receive. open handle Open hands equal receiving, which means you have to let go of whether someone says yes or no. If you're holding on, your hands are closed, can't receive. So think about that as you're growing your business. Like, how can I think with the end in mind of ultimately at the end, I just want to be happy. I just want to feel good. Well, what can you do to be happy and to feel good now? And how can you use that to approach your business? And when I started approaching my business like that, all of the things that I thought that I was supposed to do, I didn't do them anymore if they didn't make me happy, if they didn't feel fun and exciting. There's a million ways to grow a business. I don't have to follow anybody else's perfect blueprint. I can follow mine. I can trust that I can figure out this thing one step at a time. That's what I'm doing, creating a new product. I only know what the next step is going to be. I don't know where I'm going after that. If you can just at least allow it to be playful and to be fun and to put your passion back into it, if you have someone come and say no, especially if you're really excited for them to say yes, but you're having so much fun, you're not going to take it hard. You're going to be like,
yeah.
okay, no big deal next time, or they'll come around or whatever, because you're still connected to, well, I'm going to have the feeling of happiness, joy, fun, fulfillment now. I don't have to wait to get to a thing to have that. Your business will fucking skyrocket. It's so crazy when I look at like how I went from making maybe $200 a week at that 18-month mark to then within the next 12 months, I shot up into a 6-figure income. And then it was like doubling and tripling income after that. It was
Thank goodness.
all with just getting back to how can I control my attitude?
It's
Those were
just
my
this
differences.
waterfall. It's
Yeah.
just like this waterfall that happens once you click into this one little shift. I it happened with me too. It was crazy. So I love that was, oh my gosh, I wrote down so many different notes. I'm like, this could be taken in so many different directions right now. But what I'm curious about is maybe some advice for these women, because I know that it's very common getting caught up in the rain, getting caught up in what other people are doing in social media and in the company. Do you have a quick tip to help people drop the comparisonitis that they might be feeling looking at other people?
First of all, if anybody is triggering you in a way that makes you feel less than, unfollow them on social media, even if they're your friend. If you want to pick up the phone and call them and have a conversation with
Yeah.
them, do that. But following and paying attention to their social media posts, I know I have even some coaches on my own team who I sponsored into the business where I would notice, like, I could clearly tell that they were too influenced by my work because they would make the same posts as I did. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
tapping into what are they passionate about, what type of content do they want to create, because they felt like, well, my content will never be as good as Andrea's, so let me just do what she's doing because clearly
Yeah.
that's working. It only works for me because of the energy that I have behind it. And so they don't get the results that I get because they don't have the energy behind it, because that wasn't their energy that created the content. So you really need to give yourself some mental white space and trust that there is enough inside of you to create great content to put out on social media where you're going to attract the people that you're going to love working with. And don't you find that, like, if you're too influenced by other people, the people that you may be enrolling, you don't necessarily click with them as well as you thought you would, because they're not
Oh
really
yeah.
connected to your shit, it's somebody else's. So I would definitely say unfollow people if you're finding yourself that you're comparing too much, and always go back to, why am I here? Why are we doing this? I
Mm.
remember hearing an interview that Sarah Blakely had given. Obviously, like, I've been studying Spanx growth because lingerie business, but she had given an interview and she said one of the things that we always come back to when we are, launching a new product or we're going a different direction with the company is, why are we doing this? And if you
Yeah.
don't know why, if you're just following, I know network marketing, like, the secret is duplication. I kind of believe in that, kind of not. I think that you
Yeah.
need to have like a loosely kind of like some core basic steps of, yes, you need to create social media content, but how you create it and where you post it is up to you. right? Like there's a
Yes.
lot of creative freedom that you need to have in that and should have in that, because you will attract the right people, and it's not going to be perfect and expert status at first. If I could show you guys some of the posts that I see in my
Yeah.
time hop, I'd just
Yeah.
be like, whoa. Like, I pat myself on the back in the room all by myself because I'm like, you have come a long way, sister.
Seriously, I'll look at mine sometimes. I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I doing back then?
I know, but we were just failing our way forward. It was
100%.
atrocious,
It's so bad.
but we learned from it and we're having fun. So whatever.
Exactly. Actually, this leads so perfectly into the next thing that I wanted to kind of dive into. So, I know something that you're really passionate about is doing network marketing in your own way and really owning your own power, your individual power of doing shit really differently. So, could you share more about what this looks like for you and maybe give any tips for other women struggling in network marketing to find both their voice and make incredible money?
Totally. So I think that this this is where you start to have to learn to check in with yourself intuitively. And so I'll just share like the way that I do this. There's
Yeah.
a lot of great tips out there on like how to grow and scale a network marketing business. And I've learned a lot from amazing people who came before me and were generous enough to share. I mean, YouTube is just full of incredible content. You guys wouldn't ever have to pay for a course or anything if you didn't want to. Like the information is free and available to you all over the social medias. But what I would do is I would listen to calls. And at first, when I was in that weird phase of comparison for myself, I would try to duplicate what other people were doing just because they were successful when
Yeah.
they were doing it. Now I check in simply by just making sure that I am in a kind of a neutral emotional space. So I'm like not way excited to where I would say yes to anything just because I'm like high on life and I'm so pumped, or really tired. I try not to make decisions from those spaces. So I kind of wait until I'm in like a neutral space where I can really check in with myself. And all I do is I put my hand on my belly and I ask myself, should I, should I focus on Instagram right now? Should I focus on YouTube? Should I focus on Facebook? Wherever I get the butterflies is where I go. And like, you just check in with it's like you're just putting your hand on your belly. And if you get like, sometimes I call them pop rocks because I think that's like a fun
I love that.
analogy,
Yeah.
or the butterflies or a little zing or zap, like physically your body will tell you, yes,
Yes.
you can energetically get behind this. If you get a knot in your stomach, your body is telling you that you have resistance. It might mean that you have a limiting belief that you're not able to do something like that. And I think that yes, we should definitely work on kind of eliminating some of our limiting beliefs, but sometimes I think we can go down this rabbit hole of trying to fix all these problems within ourselves that it almost makes us more stuck than we were in the beginning. And so sometimes I don't feel like I need to fix a problem. I just need to look in a different direction for a different solution.
Mm,
And so if I'm like feeling resistant about like slaying it on YouTube, who cares? There's more social media platforms out there that I can crush it.
exactly.
I hate editing videos. I have so many people message me because they see me on Instagram stories and they're like, dude, you crush stories. You should definitely be a YouTuber. And I'm like, luckily, I know myself really. I'm very self aware at this point in my business. Before, I probably would have given in and been like, oh my God, you're right. I'm missing out if I
Yeah.
don't do YouTube. Fuck that. You're not missing anything. Like, I crush Instagram stories because that's where the fun is for me. YouTube would suck the
Yes.
fun out of it. If I had a full-time staff member that could follow me around and record and edit and post, sure, then I would slay YouTube because I don't have to do the work that I feel resistant around. But slowing down to create and edit those YouTube videos just because I feel like I might be missing out on that is a complete bullshit lie that we're feeding to ourselves. There's plenty of spaces for you to be able to grow and expand on social media. You could totally still do it word of mouth. You could totally still do, I think not enough people leverage Pinterest. I mean, blogging, I don't care if anybody tells you blogging is dead, tell them they're dumb if you love blogging. If you hate blogging, then go ahead and run with it. But follow the prop rocks if you
Yeah.
feel the zing. So that would be kind of my way, is really allowing yourself to become self-aware and make decisions based off of where does it seem like I can get my energy behind this, and then in
Mm,
the energy take massive action. then get yourself into like this super pumped up state of like really, really excited. When you're in that high state of like just feeling epic, you're super excited about a new idea, that's time to take massive action on those decisions that you've already made from a clear-headed space.
That's super powerful and a really important note, because I think, again, we try to take on these actions or these certain things in our business that we just see other people having success with, and we think, well, if I do it, I'll just duplicate it and it'll just happen for me effortlessly, as if it's just this blueprint. But it all goes back to this having fun. When you're having fun and you're doing things that light you up, you're energetically aligned to attract in more of what you want. But if you're doing things that are causing resistance and you're like, oh, I have to go do this today, oh, I have to post on Facebook, oh, I have to like upload something to YouTube, your ideal client or the person that you want to connect with, your audience, is not going to probably connect with that because your energy isn't behind it. And so it's not about this duplication and doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. It really does come down to tapping into your intuition and asking yourself. And I think what's important too is if you don't even know what your intuition is, take a moment to like get back in tune with it and to figure out, you know, what those nudges are telling you and when it's telling you is the right thing and the wrong thing, because I think we ignore it a lot of the time. But when you do get back in tune with it, it's such a powerful tool, and it's probably the biggest tool that I use for me, whether it's a client that I'm signing on or it's a launch or it's something that I'm about to do. I have to check in all the time. Does this feel good? Does this excite me? Does it light me up? Is this something that I want to do? Am I going to have fun in this? And if I'm not, if the answer is no, then it's not going to work. Like, I just know hands down, it's not going to be successful.
It won't. And I feel like you're, number one, spending time where that's where you start to feel burnout. It's because you're doing things that don't energize you. When you're doing things that intuitively feel good, it's an energizing process. You could be working off of less sleep, but you're so excited to be there, you don't really care, right? But if you're doing things that don't excite you, that intuitively feel like hard work, that's why, like, you'll hear some people now say, and hopefully more and more people will say, hard work is not the secret to success.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not taking action. It means you're taking inspired action that takes good and feels energizing. If it feels energizing, you're on the right track. If it feels like it's taking your energy, you're doing something that you feel resistance from. All you have to do is check back in with your body. Your body will give you a clear yes or no. It will give you like the little zing, a happy, good feeling in some way, shape, or form that signals to you saying you can get your energy behind this. If you get a negative feeling in the body where it feels hard, a knot, anxiousness, tightness in your chest, your body is saying this is a clear no, keep looking for a different option.
Yeah. So do you think that this would ultimately be the biggest mistake that network marketers are making in their business right now? Or do you think that there's maybe something else?
I don't think you can honestly make mistakes. I think like you can continuously take action where it's going to either propel you forward or cause you to take a left or a right. It's going to just cause you to shift. It'll cause you to make a small tweak. There are no mistakes if you're constantly looking at it of like, this is just a way to tell me how I don't want to do this business. And those are just, those experiences of learning what you don't want are just as valuable as figuring out what you do want. Because when you do hit the nail on the head and you've got it and you know you're doing the right thing, you know it, and nobody can shake you from that. And even if it's never been done before, it doesn't matter because you know it. You know you got it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything. So yes to that. So I know that you're pretty big into you being your brand. You're big into having some multiple revenue streams and bringing in income in multiple different ways, but also collaborating with really like a lot of other powerful women, which I absolutely love. So could you speak a little bit for a minute on this and share why you feel it's so important to put your hands into all these different little pots?
I think this is a personality type thing. I don't think it's the right decision for everyone, but for me, I feel like I'm working at my best when I'm working in teams. I love taking a vision and casting that vision for other people, and then doing it with other like-minded people. Amanda Francis and I we've done so many amazing projects together. And like, for whatever reason, our energy is like gasoline to people's like dreams. And so we do a lot together. We created a course specifically for network marketers on how to take the spiritual principles to be able to manifest more in your business, and the practical businesses to be able to grow and scale your business in a way that is, duplicable, and you can start to outsource and make it big and keep it fun. And so we work really, really well together. And I love, doing almost any project with her. But it's always very, very intuitively led. And then even through my network marketing business, I know that this isn't normal for every company, but within our company, it's people aren't very secretive. Like, we're always just willing to share what's working for people who are on different teams. We're not worried about whether like somebody's going to steal our idea and they're going to get more customers. Like, our company as a whole has an abundance mindset, and we're constantly sharing what works. So throughout my entire career, 7-year career, I've been working with anybody within our entire company, not just people on my team, to come up with creative ideas of like how we can create systems and support our team, and like how, as social media has changed so much over the 7 years, how do we continue to update that training for our team? How do kind of we play around and like figure out new tools, like how to use Instagram stories or Facebook Live or like whatever social media comes out with us for us to leverage. I know a lot of people look at stuff like that and think like, oh gosh, another change that I'm going to have to keep up with. And I'm just in here thinking like, thank you that these people are so intuitive that they come out with these rad tools. Like, my business has never been easier since Instagram stories. Thank God somebody came out with that new tool.
Seriously.
Like, that has been amazing. And I'm going to ride that train for as long as I can until I have to get off and I find a new cooler train. But coming up and creating collaborations where I find people that complement my skill sets, people that, share my vision, has always been really, really successful for me, because at the end of the day, anything that I create has to have massive purpose. That's really, really significant to who I am, my design, my personality type, how I want to show up, and how I want to be remembered in this world as somebody who, is a problem solver and did it with a really good attitude, and inspired people to show them that they could do it too. If I have that first, and I have a collection of people that like share that vision, I'm going to go hard with them on that. And the profits generally have been very good to us.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So that actually leads really perfectly into this. I know we touched on it a little bit beforehand, but I'm curious what that spark was that inspired really actually taking action on creating Spiritually Intimate.
2017. Okay. So I honestly feel like I was universally like getting pushed down in the dirt, like little kids will do to their friends, like, hey, you stole my thing, and like push you down. I feel like the universe was just like, get down, bitch. It's time for you to like slow down. 2017 was like a weird year for me. And I just felt for the first time in my life, it was like, I couldn't get to my intuition. I felt a little dull. And at first I was like, am I depressed? What's going on? Like, is this what people say depression is like? Because like my emotions are normally like very, like, I'm a high-low person. Like, I try to keep myself very high. I can definitely feel the lows, but like, I just felt nothing. And I was like, this is new. So I felt like it was this universal nudge to really force me to start digging deeper into my spiritual practices and to let go of a lot of like the hustle tendencies that I had, because even though I was leveraging the basic principles of law of attraction, I wasn't really truly in this like state of flow and allowing it to be as easy as it could be. And so as I was starting to feel a little bit confused about like what I wanted, I wasn't as excited about the normal projects that I would be. Every time I felt like I was trying to like hustle and gain momentum in my business, it felt like I was trying to run through quicksand. It was like a bad dream where you're trying to run and you just can't. And so as I was going through that, I really, really dug into spiritual practices. I started kind of leaning into crystals. I had just had my breast implants removed last year because they were causing me a lot of immune issues. And So I was just in this very, very like slow down, smell the fucking roses, heal your body, give yourself some mental white space. We just moved to Florida. And so I was going on a lot of walks. I was listening to a lot of podcasts. I was working maybe only a few hours a day. And I did not have a huge financial growth in my business like I was used to, but it was the most I've grown personally as a human ever. I feel like I had to do that in order to have the the energy and the know-how and truly embody what it means to be in a state of flow and allowing it to be easy, so then I could create a company that was focused really like, yes, I know I'm selling a bra and it has a pocket for your crystals. That's cool if you're into that, but it's not really about the product. It's that every single touch point of this company is intended to raise somebody's vibrations. They may not even know that. They might just think like, oh, there's going to be some pretty crystals and affirmations and it's pretty lingerie. They might just be curious about it and not really know about energy or vibrations or law of attraction. Like it's not going to be marketed towards somebody who's like expert woo status for sure. It's going to be more to the newbies, like something that, you could see in Bloomingdale's or Saks Fifth Avenue or something like that someday. But I wanted it to create moments for people to embody a feeling. And I know that when it comes down to it, people just want to feel good. And if I can get them to feel a certain sort of way, even if I'm tricking them into feeling it, I don't care. Because if I can trick them into feeling playful and to feeling fun, automatically I'm going to raise their vibration. So the brand is meant to be very playful and provocative and fun and exciting and very girl power, in a way that when people engage with us, it's going to make them laugh, it's going to make them smile. And every single time they do that, it releases endorphins in their body and it raises their vibration. So even if I'm tricking them into being playful with lingerie or crystals or things that are pretty, and they don't believe in like energy or quantum physics or law of attraction or any of that, no matter what, we're raising people's vibrations. And by doing that, we're putting them into a point of attraction that will allow them to have more good in their life. And that just feels really fucking awesome.
Oh, that is, I need one. Can you launch them early?
Oh my God, I wish.
Oh my goodness, I need one. I need one. I'm so excited to get my hands on one. I can't even handle it. So I'm always creeping the page. I'm signed up for your newsletters. So I'm ready. I am ready for it. So you mentioned this isn't even it wasn't even where I was wanting to go with it, but you mentioned something about the hustle versus the flow. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important to touch on this super quick, because I feel like there's this confusion on like the flow and what that looks like, and letting it be easy and letting it be fun versus just not doing the work at all and not even showing up and sitting around and kind of waiting for it. Mm-hmm. But hustling and almost hustling so much and wearing this badge of honor that it's, the struggle and the hard work and being busy and burning yourself out. Where's that middle point? Where's the delicate dance that you can kind of get in the middle of it?
I think you have to allow yourself to be playful with this and know that it's not going to be, it's not going to feel fluid and perfect at first, because you really have to change a lot of your beliefs about life. If your belief has always been that hard work is the secret to success, I just have to hustle harder than the next person, I just need to work. If I'm not working, something isn't happening on my behalf, therefore I have to constantly be working all the time. If you're going from that and then you say like, okay, I'm going to, listen to what everybody's saying on, the Facebooks or the Instagrams and be like, okay, let me be in this flow state where I'm dancing around and butterflies are swirling around me and I'm wearing my flower crown and I have my crystals in my bra and I'm just sitting here and like nothing's happening. What this looks like for me, and I think it could look a little bit different for everyone, is just being intentional about putting yourself into a specific energy. And from that energy, that's when you make decisions and you take action. So I make energy from a very neutral space. I take action from a very, very high energy. So when I know that I'm going to want to when I'm looking for inspiration, I allow myself to sometimes be busy. And sometimes that might be watching a couple episodes of the Kardashians to like distract
I,
myself and relax. Like
yes, sign me
nothing
up
wrong
for
with
all the Kardashians.
that.
There's, and actually it's funny because my boyfriend, he's always just like, why do you like the Kardashians? And you know what? I love them for probably such a different reason. That's total side note, right? That I love them for such a different reason than most people do. But I love them because I love how comfortable they are around wealth and how it's
Yeah.
just, you watch it and you just feel high vibe because, well, that's my perception. Some people, if they have triggers around money, they probably won't feel that way. But for me, I just look at it and I'm like, I feel like lit up when I watch their shows. I feel inspired. I feel next level. I feel like I can vibrate on the same level as them. So total side note, but I'm so on the Kardashian train.
I think that's like a really good perspective too, because if it does trigger you, you just know that like right now you're not a vibrational match for wealth. If you
Yeah.
can't be happy for them and feel neutral about how they feel or feel excited for them about their wealth, then you have some resistance around you even having your own wealth. You can't build it if you think it's wrong and you judge other people for it. You'll like completely
Amen.
stop your business from growing, or you'll only get to a certain point that you feel comfortable with. So the work really is, when you want to continue to grow in your business, is to change your energy first and then take the inspired action. So when your energy is when you're open to new ideas, sometimes, I'll go for a walk. Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'll go for a drive. Sometimes I'll, go down to the beach. I live in Florida, so, I can go put my feet in the sand, or just I'll put my feet, outside in ground, like really just like ground myself, feel the earth, like underneath my feet, and really, really allow that experience. But doing things that feel really good, and every single day that looks different for me. People ask what my routine is, and I say my routine is that I have a routine, and the routine is just to ask myself what would feel better than this. So maybe that's making myself a super high vibe shake. Maybe that's going out and buying overly priced green juice. Maybe that's like it doesn't matter. It could look different every day. Maybe it's playing with my crystal collection or reading a book, and allowing for even just sitting there and allowing yourself 30 minutes to read a book can feel very, very luxurious. And the vibration of abundance is just consistent with that. If you feel abundant to have time, you can be opening yourself for abundant ideas, for new inspiration. And so I just allow myself to not really, really think about it. I'm not putting pressure on myself to wait for where's the inspired action? Where's the inspired action? Because if you're focused on it's not there, it will stay not there. So I just allow myself to do things that feel good. I open myself up for inspired action. And when I receive the energy of inspiration, that's when I take massive action, and I do it fast. I do it in the energy and the excitement of the new idea. Once I've, confirmed like, okay, I really want to take action on this, I take massive action and I go hard. So that doesn't mean, again, that you're not doing work. It's just that you're doing work that feels very energizing to you. And you might sit there and work for 12 hours, but you're going to finish that and you're going to be like, whoa, did I forget to eat today? That's how you know you're on the right track. If like you're forgetting to like normal bodily like needs, you forget to drink some water, you haven't eaten, like you're just allowing yourself to completely like download new ideas, take action, and just get big chunks of work done, you're in a state of inspiration, and it feels like joy, it feels like inspiration, it feels like love, it feels like passion, it feels like creativity.
Oh my goodness. Yes. The amount of days that I have forgotten to eat. Derek's like, have you eaten today? Nope. 15 hours later. Sorry. Totally forgot. Like, where'd the day go? But that's exactly how you know that you're in this state of bliss and where you're supposed to be and where it just feels so good. So I'm curious. And again, we probably have touched on it at some point, but I'm curious, maybe there's even a tangible tip here. But what advice could you give to any of these women, or really anybody who listens, on how you birthed a idea from a thought into reality? Because I feel like people get really stuck on, okay, I have this idea, I want to put this out into the world. We touched on it like a little bit right at the beginning, where other people have probably had this idea to have this bra, but then they get stuck and they don't take that action. They don't actually do the work. So what's that what's that advice for the starting point?
The starting point would look for me like taking the idea and getting pen and paper and just
Mm.
allowing myself to do a brain dump and being okay with knowing that I'm not going to know all the answers right away. But then I approach it like a game of scavenger hunt. If you guys ever played that when you were a little kid, like you only get one clue at a time. You're not sitting there pissed saying, hey, my first clue didn't get me to the end. That's not the point of the game, right? The fun point of the game is to get from one clue to the next, just one at a time. So I treat any new idea like a game of scavenger hunt and I really play off my intuition and I let it be silly. The more you're like being super playful about it, the more that you're open to inspiration and ideas that you would have never even thought of before, something that
Yeah.
is even like a better surprise than you could have ever hoped for. So, what it looked like for me was spiritually intimate when we decided, okay, we're going to start with the bras. I actually had the idea, and then a friend of mine, her husband's like, hey, Andrea, did you know that, Blair was starting a new business? And I was like, no, tell me about it. And she was like totally caught off guard. And he was like, yeah, she's starting um, a, uh, a line for bras. And like, she starts telling me about it. And I was like, no way, dude. I was like, we're working on the same exact project right now. And had he not said something, then we probably wouldn't have ever talked about it. And at that point, we decided to team up together because my first inspired action was, okay, well, maybe I can find somebody to hand make me these bras. That wouldn't have been very scalable. But at the time, I wasn't thinking international. I was just thinking maybe it could be a cute little Etsy shop. I was not
Yeah.
thinking big. Allow the dream to be small first, and then it can grow from there. And so she had someone, but it like just wasn't working out. Like she was supposed to be creating me a prototype, sending it. I sent her all my measurements. This was like a month and I still hadn't gotten the bra. And I was like, okay, girl, like we can't build a business with this girl. She can't even get me the prototype. We
Mm.
could have looked at that as like, this just isn't going to work. But we both just agreed like, okay, there's a better option for us. Let's just be open and keep our eyes peeled. Let's keep our eyes peeled for the next clue. You never know where it's going to come from. So my friend, who is an old neighbor of mine who now lives down the street, she had told me that her dog had gotten out. And so we're, all freaking out. This is like her third child. We're going over to help her look for her dog. And as soon as we pull up and we get there, the dog has been found. So of course we're there now at her house. It's literally the middle of the night. I was up doing a full moon ritual of all things. Had my candles and so I was still awake, thank goodness. And so we were sitting there relaxing, having a glass of wine. The dog has been found, crisis averted. And she was telling me how she hadn't found a job yet. And I was like, okay, well, if you could do anything, like what would you do where it feels like no time has passed when you're working on this type of activity? And she said, I love to sew. And I was like, wait a second, you love to
Stop
sew?
it.
And she's
Stop
like,
it.
I can't make this shit up. So she tells me that she loves to sew. I was like, dude, like, have you ever considered lingerie? And she's like, I would totally do that for you guys, but I think you guys are going to pay too much. What if you guys had it's called private labeling. What if you guys had a private label company make the bra and then I'll just put the pockets in? And I was like, genius. So we searched for a private label company, but the bras that we were getting, the quality was just like not what I was willing to put my name behind. It wasn't going to raise somebody's vibrations the way that I wanted it to.
Mm.
So, okay, again, we had another, what can feel like a brick wall but when okay, this is just a game of clues. I just have to figure out where the next clue is. That was when I literally just like kind of threw my hands in the air. And as I was going to bed, I was like, God, I need a mentor. And then I went to bed. And I just let like the intention and the ask go. And then when I woke up the next morning, I'm telling you, I can't make any of this shit up. While I was sleeping, somebody who lives just an hour away from me that I've never spoken to before, we just happen to be friends on Facebook. I don't even know how. And she saw one of my Facebook posts where I was talking about how we were looking for a manufacturer, somebody who was going to create the products ethically. We didn't want women who were in unfair working conditions creating a bra that is meant to be like raising somebody's vibes. We're like, that's not going to work for us.
Yeah.
So she commented on my post while I was asleep and said, hey, I have extensive experience in manufacturing clothing. If you ever need any help, let me know. And so by the time I had woken up, I had a new mentor. And then she got on the phone with me. She connected me with somebody who is not overseas, somebody who's here locally to me in the Miami area, who's now the one who's manufacturing our bra. I did the same thing. I had to go to New York to source the lace because they do activewear. They don't normally do lingerie, but he can do the bralettes for us. So we're starting with him, and then we'll grow with a bigger company later on. But I had to go to New York to get the fabric. I'm a toucher. I have to feel it. I have to make sure it's like good lace. It's got to be like super amazing quality that, women are going to feel amazing wearing. And so I just set the intentions on the way to the airport, like, okay, God, like, let's let this be fun. This is a game of clues, and I'm going to look for the clues. You lead us there. So as I get into the cab after I've landed in New York, because I've been studying Spanx so much and like just trying to learn as much as I can from Sarah Blakely, who started with $5,000 and built a $1 billion company. I'm like, okay, what can I learn from Sarah? As I got into the cab, there were two commercials that played back to back as soon as I got in. One of them was a commercial for Spanx, and the next one was a commercial for Shark Tank. And I was like, okay. So I posted on Instagram stories, like those two pictures. And then somebody messaged me from Instagram stories, and she said, hey, I have an in at Shark Tank in case you guys are ready for that. I already had one of my clients go and they accepted her offer. And I was just like laughing to myself. I'm like, okay. So I'm going through New York, and at first I thought like, oh my gosh, I don't think we're going to find anything. Every shop that we went into, the quality was just as crappy as the ones that we were getting from China. And so we were going into an elevator. I happened to, stumble across this amazing girl on Instagram stories who lives in New York, who has extensive experience in lingerie manufacturing. And so she like guided me all around the city and took me to different shops. And we went into this last place, and we were both looking at each other like, oh, I hope I didn't like waste a trip. That's why like you can't waste anything. And she's like, let me call my friend. We'll see if like he can, let us go through his showroom and see what they have there. So he happened to have a little bit of space. They were all getting ready to leave for the holiday, but he's like, yeah, sure, swing by. And I told her that my lucky numbers for this business was 11, and because number one is like a signal for new beginnings, and then multiples of one are a sign that you're on the right track, you're manifesting fast. And so those numbers like were significant numbers to me. We got into the elevator feeling a little defeated, and I looked at her as she was pressing the numbers on the elevator, and she clicked floor number 11. And I looked at her and I was like, motherfucker, we are going to fight here. I know it.
Yes.
And we did. So that's where we're at right now. And I'm just waiting for the next clue. Like, it's just, I'm allowing for it to be, one step at a time. I'm going to make some wrong decisions in the process, but I'm going to let it be fun. And I don't need to know every single answer. I just need to know, like, set the intention, ask for help when I'm needed, and then look for the guidance, because it will be there and it will show up fast if you don't have any resistance to it.
Oh my gosh, I have so many chills. Like if they could watch the video while listening to the podcast, they would see like the chills all over me. When you're talking about it, it's on so many levels. I have been seeing 1s and 11s like crazy lately. So when you said that again, it's like, yes, feeling so supported. But I think that that's really important, is that I feel like there's I don't want to say that there's only two types of people, but I feel like there is kind of like these two types of people where they'll see the setback and they'll say, okay, well then that's stopping me. This isn't meant for me. This isn't where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I'll completely change direction. And then there's the people who look at it and say, okay, it didn't work out. This is a prove it moment. Like this is another look for the clue, right? It's prove it. This is what you want. I'm committed to the vision. I'm committed to the purpose. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to continue to look around for the right next move, the right next step. And it leads you to divine intervention. Like that totally is what happened this whole time for you, is you had, I can't even put into words, that just blows my mind, from meeting the certain people, having the mentor reach out to you, and finding exactly what it was supposed to be to put this vision to life. The way that you envisioned it, it's just, it gives me chills. It is incredible.
If I had gotten frustrated over the first, kind of no, which was the woman who wasn't really creating the prototype quickly, and we just thought like, okay, this isn't meant to be, like we would have missed out on so many different miracles. And had I, been stuck on the, the process of saying, okay, let's just launch, this bra, and we'll have my friend put in the pockets, and we sourced it from China, like it still wouldn't have been right. So I have a core belief that every rejection is a redirection, and it's a
Yes.
redirection to something that's better, something that you couldn't have imagined yet. And I couldn't have imagined that there were two complete strangers on social media, one of them local to me, another one in New York, that were going to be willing to share their expertise, kind of take me under their wing and really help support, the vision for what this company is going to do for women. And now I have two amazing friends. Like one of them, I can't wait till our company is actually making money. Or we have a product that we're actually selling, because I want to offer this woman a job. Like I want her to work within our company and to like be a part of our team. And so I just think like, had I been closed-minded and thought like, oh, this is just the universe saying it's not for me. If I felt intuitively like, okay, this is wrong, I would have trusted that gut. But I knew
Yeah.
that it felt good. I knew that it felt right. I knew that the vision was on point. Nobody else had dreamt big enough and started taking massive action on it, on this company yet, or it would already be out there and I'd be their customer, right? So I knew that I had to take action, and I choose to believe that every rejection is a redirection to something better.
That's so good. That needs to go on a quote. Do you have it on a quote already
I'm
somewhere?
sure it's like
Probably.
probably one I read on a quote, but it's
Yeah.
just a belief that I have to adopt.
Oh, I love that. So, for the woman who's listening and dreams of being financially free and insanely passionate about what it is that she does, but she's super clouded by fear and she's super clouded by judgment, what final pieces of advice could you give her to break the rules and just go for it?
I think that go back to letting it not mean something big. Like allow
Mm-hmm.
yourself to dream small and let that dream grow. Because if you're just looking at someone, especially in, business, and maybe they've already like hit the six figures or the seven figures, and that feels too far, that feels too big. But find somebody who's like a mentor in your space that's maybe just two or three steps ahead of you, that still feels tangible and believable. You might sometimes have to scale your dream back a little bit until you can grow into it. That doesn't mean your dream will stop growing, because it's not possible. You're a growth seeking human being. That's just a part of everyone's DNA. We want to grow. So if you're willing to allow yourself to scale it back until it's exciting still, but just believable enough for you to take action, look for those people to be the spaces, the mentors in your space, where you can kind of grasp onto the coattails of their success and think like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. But again, if it triggers you, they're not the right mentor for you. Keep looking.
So good. So good. So we made it. Our final question, though, that I ask everybody that comes onto the podcast is, what does being a wealthy babe mean to you?
Um, I feel like it just, for me, wealth is opportunity and empowerment. And I think for me personally, I know not everybody's is gonna embody this, but I look at wealth as a responsibility and something that is giving other women permission to
Mm,
make a fuck ton of money. Because I was listening to, I was at an event and Denise Duffield Thomas said, like, think about it. If you're probably either a first, second, or third generation income earner for the women in your family. It's not been very long that women have traditionally had jobs the way that we do now. Very, very short gap of generations. And even just looking back to my grandmother, like she didn't have the same opportunities that I have today. So women are still kind of having to step into this permissive space to believe that it's okay for them to be wealthy. It's okay for them to manage money. It's okay for them to
so
have money.
true.
It's not dirty. It's not bad. It's not going to make you a good or a bad person. Money's just a piece of paper. It literally does grow on trees. And once we can start removing some of those limiting beliefs about what money means to us and empower us to have more money, money does afford us influence, and women are the people that tend to use that influence for good. A financially empowered, wealthy woman does not just change her own life and her family's life, but she changes her community's life. The ripple effect is massive. And I want to be one of those people to create that ripple effect. And I want to empower other women to do the same thing. So I look at it as a massive responsibility for myself as well. That's a big part of my life purpose.
That was such a beautiful answer. That was so good. I love that so much. So thank you so much, Andrea, for being on here and just sharing so many juicy nuggets and so much advice and so much that I know that these women are just going to be obsessed with, and they're going to be sharing all over their social media and be taking home and writing down and taking notes. So where now can everybody find you now that they're obsessed with you and they want to just be in your energy more?
If you're a network marketer, I do have a course, like I mentioned, that I co-created with Amanda Francis called the Network Marketer's Blueprint for Massive Fucking Abundance. If you don't like the F word, don't sign up for the course. But what do we hear a lot of people say is like just being in the energy of listening to the videos raises people's vibes, which raises sales. So it's been like really fun to see like people just like bust through like where they weren't rank advancing before, their income wasn't advancing, and like the testimonials that we've gotten from the course have just been next level. And then if you just want to get into my little social space where I love to hang out, that would be Instagram stories over on at love_Andrea Crowder or at spiritually intimate on Instagram. Definitely sign up for the wait list if the crystal bra sounds like fun, because we're going to start with a small batch of 500. I have a feeling it's going to be a Kylie Jenner lip kit moment.
Yeah, it totally will be. I'll be getting one of those 500 for sure. So amazing. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. I mean, I'm sure that there are so many things that we could have dove into on this podcast, but it was incredible. It was so much fun, and I'm just so excited for our listeners to hear it. So again, thank you guys so much. And if you guys love this episode, please make sure to share it on your Instagram stories, tag me and Andrea, and we will oh my gosh, it's not even Twitter. We will share it for you. I don't know why I wanted to say retweet. I never use Twitter, but thank you guys. We love you, and I'll see you in the next episode.